This is my script, and this is Line Learner. With Line Learner, I can make the other person's lines be read and leave a gap for myself. So I'm going to play that at my own discretion. I'll press play and it'll just run through with no loop. I can make it loop if I want, but I've set it to not loop so that I can film this scene once only. And I feel that a script is never realistic. I'll tell you why. Because it's that person's lines, then my lines, then that person's lines, then my lines. That's not how life works. Sometimes I even write in a script, yeah, no, I agree, whatever, right? I get that there are clues in the script that you've got to be a detective as an actor to figure out. I'm not for that. At the top of every script it should say, feel free to talk over the top of each other and improvise any tween lines, okay? That's exactly what I'm going to fucking do right now. Here we go. We're rolling? Yep, alright. So I begin with a moment before the lines begin. The opening line is my line that says, "You're not gonna eat that." Now it's just been raining out here in Melbourne. I'm just wondering how many accidents there are, how flooded the city is. I don't really actually care, to be honest, but it gives me something to think about so you as the camera and the audience can see that there's something going on in my mind without me posing or staging it. I made this note to myself today when watching other actors in class, and it was, the only thing that really matters now, given we've had years training together, is whether their conversation looks like two people talking, or whether it looks staged. We've had all the training with all the tricks and everything else. We haven't really watched ourselves back in close-up like I'm filming myself here at home right now, which I think would have been important because today I saw myself on camera and I looked like absolutely, well, I just looked terrible. Just appearance-wise, I looked awful. I didn't even pay attention to the acting because I was so fucking disgusting looking with their lighting. This is pretty harsh light too anyway, but still, at least I'm frontal frame and I know that's a good eye line for my wife and that's a good eye line for her plate of food. And right here, that's probably my plate of food, but it's also the play button for Line Learner, which will start off the scene like this. You gonna eat that?
Why don't you do something?
What do you mean?
I don't know.
What do you mean, why don't I do something?
Isn't there anything you want to do?
Like what?
I don't know. You're so good at so many things, you can do anything you want to. You're good at everything that you do. Isn't there something else you want to do?
What do you mean, instead of being your husband and being Frankie's dad? What do you want me to do? I mean, in your dream scenario of what I'm good at, what would that be?
You're so good at so many things. You can do so many things. You have such capacity.
For what?
You can sing, you can draw, you can dance.
Listen, I didn't want to be somebody's husband. I didn't want to be somebody's dad. It was my goal in life, okay? Some guys it is. It wasn't mine. But I've stumbled across something that I'm so grateful for. I'm so glad to have you both in my life now.
You have a job when you didn't have to start drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning.
No, I have a job that I can drink at 8 o'clock in the morning, all right? Look, I get up for work, I have a beer, I go to work, I paint somebody's house, they're excited, I get to come home and I get to be with you. I mean, it's like I'm living the dream. But why would it disappoint me?
Because you have all this potential.
Why do I have to make money out of my potential?
I'm saying you have to make money off it. Don't you miss it?
What does that even mean, potential? I mean, potential for what? What are you talking about?
We really sit down and have an adult conversation because every time we do, you take what I say and you turn it into something that I didn't mean. You just twist it, start blah, 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 blah.
If you're not interested in what I have to say, then I might as well not say anything at all. Yeah, that's funny, huh? Why is it so funny?
Good luck. I like to see you think about what you say instead of saying what you think.
What are you doing? What?
Give it a try.
What are you doing? You want to fight me? Huh?
I want to fight you.
So the moment after and the moment before are both equally important, with the scene in the middle, but why separate them? They should all be one kind of gigantic thought. You get this kind of just like, you know what? Finish line kind of problem, right? I finished, now I'm not going to be realistic anymore. I'll just, look into the distance or some bullshit, right? No. There'll be other things you can look at and like, he's playing games with me. Why is she fucking doing that? My God, we're so fucking bored. Is this relationship over? What? I'm married, I'm fucking stuck, and there's Frankie, of course, looks beautiful. You know, there's so much to think about. You don't have to fucking break character just because the scene's words are over. The scene's still going until they say cut, man. If you're filming yourself, you decide when cut is, but it's definitely not on the word. Yeah, I want to fight you. On the word you. That's not the end of the scene. The end of the scene goes as long as it needs to, and generally that means about 30 seconds. Don't fuck it up. Don't break character. So acting in general can be summarized like this. Behave like you would in real life if you were that person. I was just remembering Sir Ian McKellen. Sir Ian. Wizard, you shall not pass! Sir Ian. Fucking love that shit, man. You just gotta look realistic when you're talking to another person. If you're talking to God, if you're wondering about something. I mean, like Shakespeare stuff, that shouldn't be done unrealistically. I've always been unrealistic in the past because I didn't know what acting was. I thought you were just trying to pretend to be somebody you weren't and just pretend in a big melodramatic kind of way. Accents, baby. That's what it's all about over there. You know? You hang out long enough in this city, you fucking learn the ins and outs of the whole fucking joint, you know? Sometimes the sky is fucking sunny and then the light shining in your eyes, and the other time you're fucking down and out, you're in the gutter, you're fucking bleeding out of your fucking asshole because some guy just ripped you in the fucking alley or on the street, you know what I'm saying? So you just, like, improvisation is what you do every time you have a conversation. So that's not a skill you need to learn. You kind of already know it because you talk to people. You decide when you pick up a glass or an object how your hand is going to go around it in advance. When I walk up to a traffic light, I kick it with the back of my foot. That's kind of my thing. But sometimes, you know, people are watching and I don't feel confident that that's going to hit the mark, so I just press the button. But I'm not concerned with an audience at all times or a camera at all times. To be honest, when I was younger, I was thinking that. I was thinking my ancestors who are dead are watching me in the sky. God is judging me, Jesus and Mary and all the other bullshit, all the invisible gods and creatures and things that created the universe. And all the dead are just watching me. I'd pick up rubbish and put in the bin. Even when it was disgusting and dirty. I was trained to do that by my good parents, righteous parents. My mum wasn't even Catholic, but I was still probably aware of the existence of an all-seeing God. And as an actor, you've got to stop being aware of that. It made me a bad actor to be aware of that at all times. I was pretending, so my real life looked like I was aware that a camera was watching me. And so when I get on camera and they said, no, you're aware of the camera. What are you doing? It's like, I don't know. It's how I behave normally. And it was, truthfully, I was behaving like my ancestors and God and everything were watching, because at all times I felt like that's the way it was. And when real life people who I could actually see were watching, that was another audience again. And then when I was on stage, I didn't know how the fuck I was supposed to act. So I was like, to be or not to be, that is the question, right? Big and third circle. You learn that at the start of the year. You want to be second circle, welcoming. First person is confined and inward, right? Not giving anything out. Second circle is, I love you. and we've got a connection going, and so I do with the other people in the scene, the other objects in the scene. I remember that remote control when I first moved in here. It's wet now from the rain. Be careful. I'll probably lower the curtain and give me a different lighting effect, actually. Quite useful. So, stop. How are you going to behave? The answer is, you don't have a sphere of possibilities in the acting world. Not because there aren't a sphere of personalities in the world heading off in every direction. The reason I say sphere instead of 360 different perspectives, like if you're going to divide them by degrees. I know within a degree there are minutes and seconds, but it's a big shame, and as a director I won't be making that the case either. I would not allow somebody to fit within the tight scrutiny or the tight hole of personality that is allowed by a specific country's requirements for what an actor is. Somebody different. It should be always somebody different. I'm sick of seeing this same old shit. To be honest, just from everything I've learned, women are more concerned with emotion and people, and men are more concerned with things. So that's why we're more into science fiction. And women can watch something like Game of Thrones, but only because of the relationships within it. Whereas men are like, oh yeah, fucking bring on the dragons, yes, right? Or some power kind of struggle. Men love revenge. I'm not sure if women love it as much as we do. It's the testosterone in us. If somebody fucks us over, we want to kill them, but we don't because of social norms, and it's just... We look at wolves and dogs and stuff, and chimps. They will occasionally get revenge and fight to the death, but usually it's more of a bare the teeth kind of thing. Most animals don't just go around committing murder indiscriminately like some psychopaths. The psychology of an actor, the understanding of psychology to an actor should be pretty much thorough, at least. Because you've got to get into the shoes of another person each time you take on a new character. Now, to be honest, with this character here now, I'm not married. I haven't had to look after a kid. And to be honest, I think it was weak the way I just performed that. It must have been because I had no clear vision of who Frankie was, the kid that I'm looking after, the kid whose father I am. I don't even have a person in my mind. I'm just thinking of some little stick figure riding on my shoulders at the fairground, and how could I have even seen that? Impossible. I need to pick somebody I know, who I love, and reminisce about them. But I didn't really have time. I was just going with the conversation. And the other thing is, in real life, in a conversation, do you have time to think deeply about the faces of the people you're mentioning? Or do you just think, I want this from you, which is what we're mainly taught, like practical aesthetics and Chabak. What do I want from this other character? Well, that's usually the definition of the scene objective. And what I want is to make Cindy tell me she's not happy first. Right? I'm not going to say it in words to you that I'm not happy with our relationship, but then it's twisted around, you see, because the first idea I was given was to make Cindy realize I am living the dream. Which kind of seems more along the lines of what I was just doing there. But proud of myself, am I? Proud of myself, am I? That I let all that go in that take. I was simply concerned with each line, which is how life works, right? I'm not planning ahead. I've not got... She started it. I just asked her if she wanted to eat the rest of that. And I'm not quite in agreement with that I want you to give me this, and I'm going to use the action of reassurance, I'm going to use the action of curiosity or questioning, or I believe in that take. Most of the time, the lines were in my mouth, not in my head, so that my brain was free to think. So basically, when you juggle, the cerebellum, the lower part, the lizard brain, basically takes on the physical memory of what's needed to do something. That's why you can drive and change the radio station, or why you can walk and talk and chew gum or whatever else you're able to do. You do it through experience, and it's all stored in here. But the thinking part of your brain, and it's a big shame that students aren't taught at high school or even primary school from the beginning neuroscience, because that's really who we are and how we work. Everything else is like, the body is just like, a machine that carries us around. Given that we will have to merge with the cyborgs, merge with machinery to become cyborgs when AI comes along, it's almost criminal that we're not training people already in neuroscience from a young age. Because I can't even describe to you now exactly the entire process of how I achieved all that. I can get feelings here and there, but they're fuzzy and indescript. Whereas if I knew the parts of the brain that were in use for all of that, I would have been able to describe them more accurately. So how did I go? I'm going to watch it back and have a look.